Nebraska, Scott Monk, case ID 275. And this is Smoke on Approach. Minnesota, John Deere 6030, they call Special Edition. Jane is wife, her man and daughter. But this is Steve Banghart, Wahoo, Nebraska. Pick a they call Power Trip. kind of where we're sitting at again.
We're live. Dennis Frey, welcome to the Let's Grow Pulling Studios. You came all the way from Sauk City, so
all the way from Sauk City. So
Well,
I'm impressed with your studio so far.
are you just
This is cool.
Are you just saying that, or do you really mean it? So, if you're just joining us, we tried to start the show out Monday night with some little bit of video. So Brandon, our main Facebook admin, he does a live video show, Dennis, every Thursday night, and that thing usually reaches literally 1 million timelines. So Ryan and I will start out with a couple of videos to get people going. So Ryan went out to the Cornhusker Classic last weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska. I chased my son all over Western Michigan. He had soccer tryouts at Western Michigan to play college soccer. And we ended up in Milwaukee for more practice on Sunday. So I didn't get to go have fun like Zolik did. So what'd you do this last weekend? Anything fun?
Me?
Yeah. Did you go snowmobiling or
Nope.
anything?
Actually, I stayed home and worked. So,
So if you're just joining us, we got Dennis Frey with us, the owner of Fair Valley Performance, located over in Sauk, right in the corner of 60 and B over there. And welcome. Thank you again for sponsoring us. And, we have Joe Bush Ag Repair on board, Hawthorne Tire, Fair Valley Performance. And we have a couple pulls it now. And just, trying to grow a lot of things out there. And I don't think people realize how much Fair Valley Performance does now compared to what I even did a couple years ago, because you have the shop across the street now.
Right.
And we're trying to share all your posts out on social media. You're working at fire trucks and semis. So you kind of have the high performance side of the business, the pulling trucks, the pulling tractors.
Yep.
But you also take care of the daily drivers.
yes, exactly. Our business basically I founded and started the business in 2007.
So if you're watching the show right now, that's your shop, Dennis. They're seeing your shop right there on the right. That's where it
gotcha.
started.
Across the way too.
Right.
Yep.
So basically, the big white building would be our diesel drive-in center, and basically we specialize and we work on anything diesel powered.
Okay.
Diesel pickups, large trucks, whatever it is. So that would be hence the name our drive-in center. And there we've got 5 full-time employees that operate the diesel drive-in. And over on what we call the barn shop, that would be our diesel component center. And so basically, hence the name, we work on the diesel components like the fuel system, pumps, turbos, injectors. And there we basically have, we've got seven of us full-time there.
Okay.
So we got basically at this point between both sides of the road, we're at 12 full-time employees.
Awesome.
And we started out in 2007. It was just 3 of us, and this is our 10th year anniversary, by the way.
Hey, congratulations.
And, we plan on doing something maybe this fall, having like an open house or something like that. But it keeps growing. We keep we're actually going to be looking for another employee here, and we keep expanding, and business has been good.
What's the biggest part of your business that's grown right now, Dennis? Is it the performance side? Is it I call it the daily driver side of it? Is it kind of a little bit of both? Or?
Right now, quite honestly, the diesel component center is about 75% of our business. The diesel drive-in is about 25%, but that is growing.
Yep.
Quite honestly, but getting back to the diesel,
So Jenny made both pictures, and how did that work out?
she works on both sides of the road.
And she's your wife.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I just want to throw that out. We gotta have a little fun on our show.
We need to keep her happy.
Yes, we
So,
do.
Yes,
we do.
So basically, in our diesel component shop, quite honestly, I'm going to say anywhere from 60 to 70% of our work is actually tractor pulling related, truck and tractor pulling. So the performance side of it's very big, and quite honestly, we serve pullers all over the country.
Are you okay mentioning some of the pullers' names? So, out there in their pulling vehicles, so people can kind of put it to it.
Yeah, we out east, we got a lot of guys out there that run in Virginia, New York, Pennsylvania, that area.
Are they running your pumps, your turbos? What are they running?
Pumps, fuel systems. We do a lot of injectors. And a lot of pullers out there, quite honestly, it's kind of a secretive thing.
Right.
Not everybody wants to display, what they're running for a pump.
Sure.
Turbo injectors, whatever it is. So in many cases, we may not have the complete fuel system. We might just have the injectors.
Okay.
On this particular unit, or we might just have the pump. Or it could be everything.
Sure.
It just depends. And at all levels too. And quite honestly, and we never shy away from the everyday farm pulling.
No.
Quite honestly,
way more of that than there is anything else.
It's a big part of our business, and we and I enjoy working with them guys as well. So
like here, we're on your website right now. So we got recent performance work. So we got a Fair Valley Performance Design 3LM 466 performance billet. So what would that be on? Like what turbo is that tractor?
that would be like more like a farm stock puller.
So
or maybe like a hot
12,000
farm,
or
right?
11.5 too hot to farm, something like that.
Right, exactly. Okay. And what we do there, you look at the billet wheels. We actually design the wheels ourselves.
Okay.
We do not make them in house. I've got a facility that basically makes them. So that's our latest wheel that we introduced.
Okay.
I'm working on some other wheels now, like for an S500, GT42. We do a lot of. We got a hot farm, super farm wheel in that version, ball bearing turbos, billet injectors. That's the one photo there in the middle is showing the. That's a set of actually international, the large style billets, what I call the 21 millimeter billet injectors.
Okay.
We have the bodies made and we do a lot with the injectors when it comes to custom spray angles, things like that. That's kind of where it is. And of course nowadays we live in the world of a lot of pullers dyno testing. So, and quite honestly, it ain't like it used to be. Even 10 years ago, we just produced a product, it went out, and people ran with it. Now, we're kind of being forced into letting people try our products, and it has to prove to work.
Right.
So it's a challenge. So
Keeps you on your toes.
right, exactly.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yep.
So are you seeing diesel truck side of your business growing more? Are you seeing diesel truck or diesel tractor growing more? Because Ryan and I talk a lot about, it just really feels like diesel trucks are really like the next, tractor pulling is not going to go away.
Right.
But it seems like these younger generation, they're not growing up on the farms and
Right.
they have the diesel truck. And Ryan and I always joke
Yep.
about every kid, you pull up to a stoplight in town, he's got a stack sticking out the back or the stack sticking
Right.
out the hood and
Right.
and rolls a little coal, as I
Yep.
like to say.
Yep,
So-
exactly. I agree. I think that's going to be your up and coming, and probably one of the biggest growing portions of our business is going to be that.
And
part of it.
PPL, they actually introduced the 2.6 now, or they're calling it a Pro Street Diesel in the Western Series this year. So,
Right.
That's a non-drop box truck, like what 3.0 was a couple years ago. I mean, I seriously remember still announcing in Sauk like 7-8 years ago, and the guys driving their trucks to the polls.
Right.
And now we're rolling them in, and they're making 1,500 plus 2,000 horse on,
Yep.
on the bigger trucks. So.
Yep, exactly. So,
Chris Pulvermacher says he runs all your
yes,
components, so he's
he does.
saying that
Yeah, so,
job, so
if you're just joining us, we got Dennis Frey with us from Fair Valley Performance. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you use some Fair Valley Performance. Get a hold of them. Their website is fvpdiesel.com. They have a Facebook page. Dennis answers the phone when I call the shop. It's a great thing. You're good at the customer service. I mean, I've known you forever. You were making parts for Blackjack, which we have right behind us back here.
You bet.
Years ago. So let's start over. How did you get into this game? Let's.
Yeah.
Do you think people know you more for Fair Valley Performance or for the Agent Orin Light Limited Superstar?
Oh, I think it was kind of an evolution. I mean, going back to the beginning, I guess. I mean, I grew up on a farm.
Yep.
Grew up on a dairy farm in Dane County, Roxbury, and that's basically where I acquired my passion, I guess, if you will, for tractors and diesel engines. And so at that point, I went on to school at MATC through the diesel technology program.
Okay.
And at that point, that's where my career started. I worked at Diesel Injection Service.
In Sun Prairie, right?
In Sun Prairie. I started there in 1991. Worked there for 16 years, and actually evolved from being a technician to technical support, being a trainer, and then eventually, when I resigned there, I was actually the service manager. And in 2007, we started FVP, which was my dream.
Yeah.
And so at that point, and again, we started out with 3 full-time people: myself, my wife Jenny, and Scott Luck. And he actually came with me from Diesel Injection Service.
Okay.
And we're 10 years old now. Like I said, this is our 10-year anniversary. And at this point, we grew into another facility. So we have a separate drive-in facility for our diesel pickups and diesel truck type work. And then we have our diesel component shop, which is the barn shop that we do all of our pumps, turbos, injectors. And so right now we've got 12 of us full-time and 4 part-time employees.
Okay. Wow.
So we've grown.
Yes, you have considerably. So let's talk about Agent Orange a little bit, and let's talk about tractor pulling. And you've done a ton for Badger State Tractor Pullers too.
Yep.
Thank you, because that has grown to be the premier pulling club in the state of Wisconsin. And when the Badger State Tractor Pullers, when they venture out into the Champions Tour and the bigger circuits, if you will, you'll see them towards the top of the class. And I know you're instrumental. I know you're very good friends with Greg Elsine.
Yep.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Your tractor pulling.
Yeah. Basically, we started farm pulling. Way back in the day, that was with my
What's
dad.
like when you say way back in the day? What year or how old were you? I'm not trying to call you old or anything, Dennis. I just want
Well, I graduated in 1985 from high school, so I am pretty old.
That's okay.
And I started pulling probably 1983, 84 vintage. Farm pulling, pulling a Farmall Super M, going into an Alice Chalmers D19, and then eventually into Agent Orange. In 1999, we actually built Agent Orange from scratch.
In 99.
99.
Okay. And was it a twin charger tractor right out of the gate?
Twin turbo tractor from the beginning, and we built it specifically for Badger State, and that's when, at that time, I joined the Badger State board. So I was on the board for 13 years.
Yep.
I was the secretary there, and so yes, and me and Greg were very involved with Badger State, and throughout those years, we ran Agent Orange for 11 years, I guess at that point, and we're very successful with it, and I'm very proud of that.
should be.
And quite honestly, and that's really where I learned a lot. Just simply, it's like any puller, being out in the shop in the middle of the night by yourself and just figuring stuff out. And that kind of led me into what I'm doing today, and again had that passion.
So we got a picture of your tractor up right now. Is that Clint Tucker standing right next to
It is. It is.
This is pretty early on Gordyville, I would say.
That's actually the first year at Gordyville, and we're pretty proud. Agent Orange. Agent Orange was the first tractor in the sand pile. At Gordyville, back in.
That might be the first sand pile hit.
It is. That was the first. So.
This was the 13th year, so 2000,
Yeah, it was the 13th year of Gordyville this year.
Yep. 2000,
Yeah,
2004,
that sounds right.
2005. Winter 2005?
Yeah. So
something like that.
yeah,
Let's do
it was
the
in that
Yeah.
area, but that's what it was. Agent Orange has since been parted out. We love that tractor. Don't get me wrong, still do, but there'll be something coming down the road.
Cool.
So it'll be a little bit different. But we had our fun with the tractor, and when we retired it, it had some problems, and I had an opportunity to sell some parts, quite honestly, and one thing led to the other. And
Well, you start your business up, and I don't think the average fan, and I'm not picking on the average fan, but they don't know how much time and torture that it takes to own a pulling tractor.
it really does. And and I spent the last 10 years now building my business, and I just couldn't handle it all,
No.
quite honestly. But it's going to change. I've got Ridge, my 15-year-old son.
And Ashley's involved in the business now as
Yes.
well, right?
Yep. She's our marketing manager, and she built the website for
looks good.
FVP, which is fairly new. It's still kind of a work in progress, and of course she's working with the Facebook thing, which we have to do a little bit more on, but we're getting there, slow but sure.
No, it's good.
So,
It's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You want to bring up their Facebook page,
Yep.
Ryan? So again, if you're just joining us, we got Dennis Frey with us here tonight in studio. He's one of our sponsors of Let's Grow Pulling, longtime puller with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. Has his own business now, Fair Valley Performance. They're celebrating their 10th year of business now, and just want to have him come over. Lives about 35 miles away from us, and it's nice to have somebody in studio, don't you think, Zolik?
Yeah.
It's nice,
It's been a while.
Here. It has. It was Brad. We had Dirk. We've had Brad.
Yeah, I think Brad might have been the...
Brad, Dirk.
Yeah.
Make sure you sign the.
Yeah, you got to sign. You got to
before
sign
leave
that.
tonight.
Okay. Brad was probably one of the first ones, wasn't he, when you guys started there?
Yeah, we had studio because we started the show in the basement.
Dirk, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I think Dirk was the first one in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, and then Brad was the second.
Okay.
So
cool.
if you have any questions for
Cool.
Dennis Frey or Fair Valley Performance, type them on the website or type them in there. But we're on his Facebook page right now. So let's talk a little bit about the. I hate to say it. You call this the drive-in side?
That's our diesel drive-in center.
Okay.
So just as you see it there, we had a local fire truck that needed service. So Greg Sprecher, my service manager, actually has a lot of experience in this part of the business.
Okay.
And quite honestly, I work in the diesel component shop myself.
Okay.
The barn shop. So there's days that, quite honestly, I don't even know what's going on across the road.
Sure.
'Cause
So
I'm
you
busy.
check Facebook then to see what's going on?
Yep.
Okay. That's good. I like that.
So I have a really good crew. I got and I'm able to trust them, and they do their thing. So it's a good thing. We're an authorized Bosch, what they call a diesel vehicle diagnostic center. So So we do. So we're able to enjoy training, things like that. We're being affiliated with a large company like that.
So what we got up next here? We got 03 Peterbilt. What'd you do to that one there?
That one there, I believe, it was in for injectors, valves, Jake brakes, that kind of thing. So we have a lot of we don't do a lot of what I call Class 8 stuff, but a lot of your local, a lot of your local farmers have semis now.
Okay.
Things like that. So we don't do so much over-the-road stuff, but probably more so local stuff.
Okay. What do we got? What do we got there?
That's just a little turbo that came off a Kubota engine. Just kind of showing an example how small it was, but it came in. We rebuilt the turbo with new seals and bearings.
And now it's got 4 chargers on it.
There we go.
Right, 3-stage.
and quite honestly, speaking of the Kubota, we kind of hit a little bit of a niche market. We as far as the garden tractor pulling.
Okay.
Quite honestly, now this here is not a tractor puller, but we actually build these little what they call a cartridge pump up with bigger plungers, things like that. So it's kind of cool. So we've been setting guys up, and it's kind of tractor pulling is when you work with a customer, regardless of where he's from. It could be somebody from Virginia. We're working with a guy right now from Connecticut. There's things like that. But once we work with that customer, they're happy, hopefully.
Yep.
And at that point, it's just word of mouth. All of a sudden their buddy's calling. Things like that. And that's really, I think, what's built our business is just getting out there, and we're in a niche market. A lot of these guys are looking for a good place that, number one, they can call and look for advice. I spend all day on the phone, and I realize that's part of the game I have to play.
Yep.
But simple, I may spend a half an hour on a phone call that may not result in a sale.
Right.
It's just the way it is. But I always act like it's going to, and in many cases it does. And by the time that half an hour is over, quite honestly, naturally, I hope that I won that customer over and won their trust.
Right.
Is the big thing.
Well, I've always heard good things about you. We obviously have used your stuff as well.
Yep.
And, you've always stood behind it and worked with people. And
Yep.
the one thing I know, like a lot of the local pullers around here, it's nice that if something does happen, they can call you at 8 o'clock at night, and you're going to be helping them out to get them on their next day there. So
here's actually one of the garden tractor pullers that we worked on, and he had pulled in an indoor pull, I guess maybe a month ago, and he won. So
awesome.
This is a
Greg Schreier.
This is actually, and that's a Kubota.
Okay.
Quite honestly, and that's running our fuel system.
He's hauling ass.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
I think this is the one that Chuck went to.
Is that the one? Yeah, Chuck's one of our
super fan.
Chuck's one of our groupies.
So we're working on that. So I mean, there too, and maybe some other shops really don't want to mess with them, maybe, but we're happy to.
There's a ton of garden tractor pulling out there, and these little diesel garden tractors are cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I know Stranley's talking about getting a couple of them in Tri-County this year.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, those little components.
Those are fun to watch.
I've seen them, and that's pretty cool. So things like that, and. But then getting back to our business, the everyday stuff.
Well, that's what I wanted. That's why I wanted you when I talked to you about sponsoring us. Is people don't know that you have both sides of the road, and you can take care of it. I mean, look at your Facebook page here. Now we got an 06 Duramax in there. Came in. I mean, everybody can read 2 broken glow plugs. You fixed it. You go across the road, and I can. So, what do you think Fair Valley Performance is most known for? I mean, is it injectors? Is it pumps? Is it the customer service?
I'm going to say right now probably fuel systems.
Right, I would agree.
And not only and not only tractor pulling, but every day we local implement dealers like McFarland's, Midstate, for an example, their fuel systems, pumps, turbos, injectors, typically come to us.
Okay.
So and everyday stuff. So we have, to me, it's diversity, and I built my business on that, not relying on just one thing.
Correct.
If tractor pulling, if something doesn't go right there, we've got different angles of the business that we can concentrate on.
Okay.
And I feel that's one of the elements to build a strong business is to stay diversified.
No, it is absolutely, because you don't want to get too heavy in one, and that's smart of you. So,
So
I think it was. I like your business plan. You work for somebody, you learn the trade, and that's the nature. And I think I'm gonna go out and do it myself. And you took that leap of faith. I remember those earlier years. It was lean. I'd walk in there and you're like, Jason, I don't know if I did the right thing, but you stuck with it. And now,
well, and that's what it is. I mean, you got to go learn the trade is right. And like I said, my former employer, which I'm great friends with. Quite honestly, I learned a lot there.
Yep.
And I don't care whatever your walk of life is. someone has to teach you first. You just don't learn that stuff on your own. So,
Right.
and I had some really good people that mentored me back in the day. And right now, I'd like to think that I'm mentoring my people. And we're someday, when I'm ready to move on, and maybe when Ridge wants to take a little stress off the old man, he can.
Ridge, are you going to talk on the show tonight, or are you just going to sit over there? You stay over there. So, again, if you're just joining us, I'm Jason Schultz. Got Ryan over here. My dog Jelpy is in the house now.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
And again, Dennis Frey, owner of Fair Valley Performance, and we've been talking about his pulling. We've been talking about his business, and he's got the drive-in side, your daily drivers, semis, working on fire trucks, and he also got the high performance side. What's your passion? Why does Dennis Frey get out of bed every day? Besides the obvious, Jenny will kick in. Yeah,
That's right. I'd have to say pulling is really what got me into this business for the most part. And quite honestly, where I came from, and just the diesel fuel injection industry. We're members of what we call ADS, Association of Diesel Specialists. So we're basically we're affiliated, with other, as far as we can talk to other shops throughout the country that are part of that. They have an annual convention, things like that. So I really enjoy that. I enjoy the business. I enjoy the technology, and the tractor pulling is kind of is maybe, I shouldn't even say a side thing, but it's really part of it that's kind of challenging. That's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're rebuilding. We've got an injection pump off an Alice Chalmers 8050. Just a farm tractor, which is no problem. We can do that. But when it comes to building a 16 millimeter P7100, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
And making one of these little Kubotas run down the track and looking like that's cool. So we kind of mix in the everyday kind of, I'm not going to say boring stuff, but just kind of run of the mill, and then we do this exciting stuff. And I think the variety there, that's what makes it fun. It's challenging, it's and it's a tough business. I mean, obviously we have competitors, and like I said before, if we let's say we build a set of injectors and they head to the dyno and the guy tries them, and if they work, we're a hero. But if they don't, we're kind of a zero.
Yep.
And they come back in the box and with a note that they didn't work.
Yeah.
But so but I accept that we're gonna win some and we're gonna lose some.
Yep.
And it's just the way it is. Maybe that combination didn't quite work for this guy, but it works for this other guy.
No, there's no cookie cutter book for a pulling truck or a pulling tractor. I think
no, there's not. And there's other good. And the one thing which, speaking to my competitors, the one thing you'll never hear me doing is downplaying any one of my competitors. If they're running a different pump from a different, and I supply them with the injectors, I've got no problem with that. As a matter of fact, we will get an injection pump up that was built by someone else. I've got no problem servicing it, looking at it, things like that. So that's the name of the game. And the one thing I've learned in business is you don't want to burn any bridges.
Right.
And I'm a peacemaker. I want people to like me.
Right.
Quite honestly,
that's a good idea. Owning a business, customer service.
And so I'm really careful about that, honestly. And that's kind of where we come from. And I think that's helped build our business just to be where people, I'm hoping, enjoy working with us too.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So there was a time, I think, or perception when they thought everybody that pulled was a farmer. Okay.
Right.
That has changed.
Way changed.
What's the craziest profession that somebody's involved in that they're pulling now? That you're like, no, I like. Tim Messer has that two-wheel drive truck, and he's a dentist, right? Does he have a thin blue line?
Do you have a lawyer that I know of?
Tell me some stories about your
customer.
Yeah,
I've got a lawyer. Speaking of that type customer, and just every walk of life. I guess I'm thinking of it. Different.
But I mean, it has to change. You've been around this game a long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, farm. I mean, like I said, I'm an old farm boy. I grew up on a farm, but that nowadays that percentage of people that grow up on farms is very small.
Yep.
And it's just a simple fact that if you love tractors, I mean, I look at Badger State. I look at a lot of these young guys that they don't have farm backgrounds.
Right.
They just love the sport. They bought a tractor and they're building it. So it's cool. I mean. That's the way it is. It's changed.
Tell me a story about where you tried something and you thought there's no way this is going to work, and it actually worked. Maybe it might have been in the earlier days of kind of that, because I've interviewed Esden Lane before for a podcast.
Right.
Never been to the dyno. How many Grand National Championships that guy have? They take that thing to the track and.
Right.
So tell me some of those stories like.
Well, I think starting from the beginning, just learning, type thing, and I think about turbos. I've done I've got, as a matter of fact, I need to throw stuff away because the things that didn't work. It drives me crazy, but I don't. And so I've tried a lot of different things with turbos, different wheels, different combinations that some have worked, some have not. Fuel system wise, just trying different things. Different types of governors. Injectors, a big thing. I've got my Bible, I call it. It's of all of our different spray angle codes. I've got like 165 spray angles right now. For different, whether it be an Allis-Chalmers, Ford, International, John Deere, whatever, and different based off the different bowl configurations in the pistons, and I've got nozzles too that just didn't work. I tried something different, thinking it was going to work, and it didn't. So, but that's how you learn.
Exactly, that's how you learn.
Yeah,
100%. So,
yeah.
Where do you what? How many points champions have you been involved in, do you think? I don't know if you've kept track at all, or let's talk about 2016 a little bit. Who are some of your trucks or tractor pullers out there?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of names here. I should have wrote these down.
I should
but
have maybe told you what I was going to ask you too,
but there's, of course, throughout the country with all the different clubs and whatnot, but there's numerous,
Okay.
Badger State.
I see your stickers everywhere. And last summer, I was everywhere, from New York to Wyoming.
Yeah.
And I saw Fair Valor Performance stickers from New York to Wyoming.
Yeah.
So.
We and out east we have a lot of customers. It seems like we got a stronghold out there.
On the truck side or the tractor side?
I'd say more so tractor.
Okay.
The truck
Like
side.
what class are you?
I'm going to say that they got so many different classes out there.
Yep.
They got their limited pro.
Yep. So that's
classes out
what I
there.
love about pulling and Ryan. I drove. That's like
Yeah.
how you can have 25 classes with 3 words: limited, pro, and super.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's like, can we be a little more creative, guys?
Yeah.
Nope. We're going to call this a limited pro.
Kentucky, Tennessee, another strong area for us. We
Like the light limiteds, or more of the hot farms. Or...
hot farms,
Yep.
light limiteds. A lot of 3,000 RPM.
So that's probably honestly the biggest class.
Oh,
in
it
the
is
States.
by huge. By far. And so we've got a governor combination that we build. Specifically that I think is kind of our own, if you will. And so we got guys that run them. They like them. So we've got a lot of pumps that get shipped up, and we just simply do a governor conversion and a testing and calibration.
Awesome.
Maybe someone else's. Things like that. It's yeah.
So, you got any questions for the great Dennis Frey?
What's your thought on the alcohol joining the light limited super stocks for this year?
Well, quite honestly, it's good. When I was in Badger State, involved with Badger State, when I was on the board, I supported the idea from the beginning. Of course, the light limiteds, that's where I came from, and of course I'm a diesel guy. But at the same time, I always felt that the alcohols are going to add another element to that class. I think maybe it got a little bit stale, and it's like any class. You need to add some pizzazz to it. So I think I'm really hoping that they can find a combination that's going to work for both.
Yeah,
and I think they will. I think it's going to happen.
The most important thing is making the fans enjoy the class,
right?
And I think that adding it is only going to make
without a doubt. So I really think it's going to make that class stronger, and it might be a deal where maybe the alcohols have an advantage on this particular track.
Yeah.
But you get another track where maybe the diesels are going to have the advantage. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yes. A lot of buzz around
I've always supported it. And there's some concern.
Yeah.
I talked to some of my customers that are in the class. It's like,
but pretty much almost everyone in that class.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Exactly. So they're good friends and still are, always will be. You know? So yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to that. And looking back on when you were on the board at Badger State, what are you most proud of when you were on the board?
Well, honestly, when I started Badger State was pretty small.
Yeah.
I mean, very small.
Yeah, even in 1999.
Yeah, so back in those days, I was pretty instrumental in starting and helping out with building a website originally.
Yes.
Kearns Electronics, they actually build our data log, data acquisition systems. We basically work with them to build this website. So I really think between and streamlining a lot of things. Nothing was on computer back in those days. No. So when it comes to that, I basically create a lot of letters, mailings, things like that. That I work very closely with Greg and Kelly on that. So I think between that website, things like that, and really just being involved in an era where Badger State just it doubled, tripled in size
really took off.
within a few years, and so I'm proud to be a part of that. After 13 years, I just felt that I didn't have the energy, and it was time for me to move on. And who knows, I might be back on the board again someday. I love Badger State; it's a great club, and
always see you all the time.
Yeah,
at different events.
Yep,
so.
absolutely. So I enjoy watching it, and obviously I live and breathe this. I'm talking to pullers all day long.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether we have a pulling tractor or not now, we'll always be involved. So.
You said there's something coming down the road. Can you any hints at all, Frey?
Nope, no hints.
Tight-lipped?
It's top secret.
Like Pro, Frey's Rich over there giving secrets.
Yeah.
That's
So-
going to be, and I don't care what it is, but that is going to be the next fastest growing class.
Yeah, I really agree. I think
I love that class.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
We're going to have 7 of them this year with Badger State, the guys. And
right.
honestly, if you would have told me a couple years ago that was a class, I mean, it's a natural step up for the 466.
Right.
We got a nice building block there. Before that was a pretty big jump, to go from hot farm all the way up to super farm.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Right.
And right off the get go, they put on just a hell of a show.
They
right
do.
off the I mean, it's just crazy.
It is, and you don't have to go after a bunch of cubic inch. I always felt that way. Way back in the day.
Josh Hayes needs a hat, a Fair Valley Performance hat.
Okay, good.
So let's get on that.
I'll get Josh one. So, I think it's a great class. I think it's going to work out well, and I think it's going to be probably the fastest growing class in the nation.
It will be
right
it's
now.
strong,
Just
very
look at
strong.
region,
Indiana,
look
Ohio
at region
already.
2. I mean, they have
Yeah.
like 30 some hooks, but they have like 20 some competitors each night.
Yeah.
Or 25.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, and most of them follow their they do 30 to 35 hooks a year. Out
Right.
of them.
Right.
And I think they're more durable than your obviously traditional pro
I think
stock
so.
because of the
I
smaller
got
cubes.
introduced to it at Brodyville, and the RPM and
Oh,
the limited turbo and the lightweight.
Right.
It's a fun ride. It has to be a fun ride. It'd be
Yeah.
cool. So.
Yeah, so it's good. I'm looking forward to that class. It'll be great. We do a lot of work for them guys too. In the Ohio area, that class is strong.
But yes.
That's that region 2, right?
Region
Okay, that's
2.
where the region
Ohio,
2 is.
Indiana.
Yep, and
Northern Kentucky.
We've got quite a few customers down there that we work with, and them guys with 16 millimeter pumps and whatnot. But and they run them hard too. I mean, these guys running 13, 14, pushing 1,500 cc's of fuel, and so they're running strong.
Yeah, they're nothing to be light on power, and it's just that lightweight really helps them out.
in RPM.
Yes.
So we got to
In the
love it.
last 10 years, Dennis, what do you think is like the one thing that has really elevated the horsepower? Is it fuel? Is it air? I mean, what are you seeing?
I think both, but I think mainly turbos.
Okay.
The technology in turbos have just in the last 5 years,
Okay.
even quite honestly.
Is that machine? Is it design? What's driving that, you think?
What do you mean as far
Like
as
what's driving? Like let's say you're saying, okay, turbos are the big thing.
Yep.
What has driven that? Is just
More
people,
knowledge, probably, I'd say, in turbo technology.
turbo technology knowledge type thing, and it used to be. I mean, I remember back in the day, you built a turbo with a cast compressor wheel and you strapped it on. And that's what you did.
Right.
Nowadays, again, I go back to nowadays the dyno days.
Yep.
And that really has. I think that alone has really pushed a lot of technology along, and turbos is a big thing. I mean, you're talking. I mean, you've seen it. And even in a super farm, hot farm class. I mean, you're talking 50 to 100 horsepower increments in turbo technology. It's huge, and it's a tough game to play. We do a lot of hot farm stuff, quite honestly, but it's a real challenge to keep up with the big players in the turbo industry. So, but we do. We've got our share. Not everybody wants to buy a $6,000 turbo.
Correct.
In many cases, we can offer them a $3,000 turbo that's going to perform very well, at their level, let's say. So, everybody's, in this industry, everybody's got their place and everybody's got their strength. And I understand that. That's cool. If someone calls me and that they say, hey, I'm running this class, what do you have for a turbo? Do you have something that's competitive? And if I don't, I'll tell them. I'll say, you know what? I don't want you to bolt something on and you're going to be 50 horsepower behind.
Right.
I honestly, I've said it.
That's why your business is growing too, because you're honest. People trust you.
But if I do, I'll tell them that I do. So it depends, and I'm not afraid to accept some defeat once in a while, because that's just the way it is. I mean, it's hard to be the best at everything, and so we just but never count me out, because we're always working on stuff. So
when you go to a Gordyville or something like that with a booth, tell me because we get a lot of questions to the Facebook page all the time about like beginning pullers.
Yep.
What is your advice for a beginning puller?
Spend your money wisely and hook up with a business or businesses like maybe ourselves,
like Fair Valley Performance.
that you can trust. And
You don't have to be shy to say your name.
Right.
Just let
You're
you
a
know.
sponsor, Brian. We're gonna be
Just let you know.
Okay.
We're not gonna talk bad about you until you leave.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. No, I mean, and stay dedicated to that person
Yes.
or business. And if you do that, when you hook up with the right people, and I enjoy mentoring a young puller, quite honestly. I always felt that I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I enjoy hooking up with a young puller that I can help out.
Okay.
And not have to maybe go through the heartaches that maybe I did. So,
Yeah, well, you probably definitely hear it all the time if your stuff didn't work. I'm sure you have some stories of that.
Oh, absolutely.
And it goes with
It's a challenging.
Yes.
It just is, So yeah, that's all part of the game, and that's. But I listen to my customers, and if something works, it's great. If not, we go back to the drawing board, and figure out what we got to do. So
Yeah, I'm sure that's constant. Well, technology's probably just moving so fast
It
now
is.
compared to 10 years ago.
it's tough, So we really have to stay on top of our toes.
People
but,
like you, Frey. We've reached 41,000 people so far tonight.
That's great. Is that like your average then? Or?
And-
No, actually, this is better than normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've been
and
consistent. We've been up over 100 now.
Okay.
And we've been
So the
right
live-
around the 80 people mark.
What we talk about a lot with the show is we want everybody to share everything on social media. Because
Right.
why are we doing what we're doing? The more people that share stuff and like and comment, any
Right.
polling at any level,
Right.
that's what it's all about. And that's
Right.
how we get to do that. So,
Yep.
like we do a live video show, and I think we get that like 3,000 live viewers.
Right.
It'll reach 1 million people. But for a talk show like this to reach 41,000 people, we have-
Yeah.
so it's at 61 shares. That means people are sharing it.
Yep.
And then we've had 7,000, some 41,000 timelines so far. But there's 7,000 actual viewers have tuned into the show at some time tonight.
Cool.
So
That's great.
that's good. So-
Yeah. Neat.
And nobody
Yes,
said
and they
anything, and
changed
nobody said
it.
anything bad about you yet.
It's
so.
funny because when we had Dirk on, and
Yeah.
they changed their
Yeah, it's like we were at like
algorithm.
290,
Yeah, we were in
290,000.
views.
Oh,
but then,
okay.
like a
Yeah.
week later, we're like only like at 50,000. We're like, what? Is
They
going
change
on?
their,
Yeah,
they
so
change their
changed-
algorithms
yeah.
all the time.
Oh,
Facebook
okay.
does, 'cause
I
they
see.
They don't want you to get too smart.
Yeah.
Oh,
like that,
I see.
so.
Gotcha.
They probably don't want you to get too big of a head.
Right. Yeah, look it up. Woo, woo, what do you do?
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, let's talk about Cornhusker Classic a little bit while we got
Sure.
Dennis here. And,
Yeah, he was mentioning he actually has quite a few.
Oh yeah,
out
we
that- that
do.
region.
Yeah, we have some customers out in the Nebraska area there, and there were just a lot of pullers out there. Period, and I think it's really an up and coming event.
Right.
The way it sounds, and just looking at, I've never been out there,
Oh,
but
we had a compliment.
Oh,
Go
sure.
back. Roger Staller. What do you say? Great people to deal with. I
Yeah.
recognize that name.
yeah, I Roger's out of Ohio.
Oh yeah,
actually.
that's those classic
Yeah, that's
super
super
stocks.
stocks. Really
Yep.
fun class to watch.
Good, great guy.
Get to see him in Gordyville every
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Roger was in Gordyville, so.
Yep.
Yeah, so back to you queue up some Cornhusker Classic videos. We're talking
Yeah.
to Dennis a little bit.
Yep.
When you're at a booth, kind of what
Yep.
are you seeing people coming up and talking to you about? And stuff?
Well, basically, Gordyville's the only show that we do.
Yep, I knew that.
As far as that goes, and it's the one show, but it's great. I mean, quite honestly, we wouldn't be where we're at today without Gordyville.
Okay.
I really give Gordyville a lot of credit for what it's done for me. And it really started with Agent Orange, quite honestly. We were successful with
The
Agent
first
Orange.
one in the sand.
Yeah,
Right, Zoli?
it was cool. Yeah, we were proud of that, and so basically, and then eventually having a booth down there. So it's really a great way for us to connect with our customers and our potential customers. So
Yeah, so this is the hall.
Did he go out of bounds
And
here?
yeah, he does go out of bounds
Yeah.
right there. So
Bruce ain't got you can't hide that one.
No, you can't.
Got
Nope,
the
that
old
was-
dust on the nose, if
Yes.
you will.
yep,
But their other tractor had 2 amazing passes in
Yep.
the stands both times after reweighing the sled.
Cool.
We got to see that earlier on.
Yeah.
And so they were really happy.
Yeah.
And they're just down the road in Kansas. So.
What do
Right.
you see, Dennis, like in the country right now? Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you seeing a sway? Like tractor pulling still probably the biggest in the Midwest. It seems like trucks are more on the East Coast. Are you kind of feeling that? Same
yeah,
thing?
I would agree. I mean,
Okay.
there's areas, I
Yep.
mean, and where they're really truck strong, so
Yep.
to speak, and I'll be honest with you, the truck guys are different than the tractor guys.
Yep, they are.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way
No.
necessarily. It's just they're a different type of person typically, and I'll be honest with you. I probably relate better with the tractor guys just because that's who I am.
Yep.
But no problem with the diesel trucks. It's just there's just different avenues for the truck guys.
I think the truck puller's typically younger.
Brian Deck weighed in. He said,
Brian Deck weighed
Okay.
in.
Great.
Valid performance.
Yeah.
Excellent performance.
Yeah.
He's
Absolutely.
kind of a big deal in the super farm
Yeah, I would
world.
think so.
I don't like to give him a big head either. He's kind of a big deal.
Now, Brian's a great guy, so they got great running iron, and we're happy that we can help them out with some of our products.
Has Rusink been chatting?
Yes, he has. He's been.
So we had our
yes.
two Ryans out
Yes.
there, and the Cornhusker Classic. Ryan was taking pictures, and Ryan went out there with his dad, and having a lot of fun like that. So, I mean, we were getting comments to the Facebook page, Dennis, about the poll and stuff like, you know, they want to be the biggest indoor pool in the West, and I obviously think it's onto it. 270-foot indoor track.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see it. Look, I mean, it's nice. It's the height is nice.
It's amazing. I look at the
So
facility.
what was it like smoke-wise? Because you know how Gordyville will eat your butt?
No,
You get
well,
the Gordyville flu for a
they
week?
didn't have the smoke tube issues like Gordyville
Right.
did.
No, but like
honestly.
the lower ceilings. Like Clint talks about it. You know, the low ceilings are hard.
Yeah,
no,
you were losing your voice by the end of the.
I have black boogers in my nose.
How'd you feel the next week then?
I'm tired. It's the Gordyville hangover.
Yeah.
there was no issues here with that.
Yeah.
They actually, with the alcohol classes, they actually have the fire department monitors the levels though, so they have to open up the doors throughout. They have doors all the way around it like Gordyville does.
Yep.
And if it does get too high, they do actually shut down the show.
Yep.
They do a flush
until those levels get low enough.
Right.
That's the only thing that they do a little bit differently there, but otherwise, it was night and day between Gordyville and Mayor. The ceiling height, it makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
Not taking away from Gordyville. It's just that's what they're working on.
And that's the thing. Clint doesn't run around thinking Gordyville. He's like, hey, it's a pull and all horse barn.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when I went out west last summer with the Live a Little guys, we pulled in rodeo grounds.
Right.
Literally out the chute, and 240 foot was a full pull, and they were made from sand.
Yeah.
Melissa tuned in. She's one of the main organizers. Great job, Melissa. Shout out again to her and Dale.
Yeah, if you go to the pull off gossip board, and it's all been positive on there.
Yeah, when you can put on a poll and then it's all positive, I think you did your job.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad.
When pull off doesn't rip your butt,
Yeah,
you're okay. So.
Yeah, that's great.
And then like I was telling him earlier, they just added on just to the just next to it where they can park the vehicles inside, and it worked out great because it was raining all day.
Yeah,
because otherwise they have to park them outside before they bring them in into the warm up area. But this year, and then next year they're going to work on it more. They didn't really advertise it as much because they had to change their whole setup around basically because they didn't with their pit drivers, moving vehicles in and out.
Yeah.
But next year they're going to do more meet and greet sessions there, and a lot of space where they had the booths basically right behind the one main grandstand, and then some along the one side. But otherwise, and then like I said, it was funny. They had a 4-H rabbit show going on at the same time.
Yeah, and a couple elephants. You said,
yes,
right?
and the circus. Melissa, did they pick up their elephant yet? I mean, they were there all week, so.
No, Dennis is going home. He's not staying on Curse tonight.
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
So I got the legend pullers coming back up. I had him here in October.
Yes.
And then so it's who do we got? Mike Ott, Kevin Dick. I think Super Banana might be coming, but Kevin Dick is living on the edge, and he's got the Spirit of '76.
Okay.
And we put him up at Honkers last year, and they really enjoyed that.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, you're close enough from home where you don't need to stay.
Right, exactly.
Get you home if you have.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
I think everybody assumes we drink during the show too.
Yeah, I don't know
I
why.
don't think we ever have.
Oh, really?
Maybe once.
Maybe once.
Maybe once or twice. I think I had
once
Crown
or
and Coke
twice.
once. Dirk will usually come. I'm surprised. What are Dirk's doing tonight?
Yeah, I know. It's probably working on a chainsaw.
Was the elephant still there when he left Saturday night?
Were they? Oh, well, someone said they were, so I don't know. Hopefully they got picked up.
Right.
So Ryan and I, when we do the show, we talk a lot about entertainment.
Yep.
When I grew up as a kid going to polls in the 80s,
Yep.
it was monster trucks. It just seemed like there was always a gimmick at the events and something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
For the diehard fan, they don't like that gimmick. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm not satisfied with 3,000 to 5,000 people at a poll. I
Right.
want 10, 20.
Yep.
And if you watch the show, I talk about Bowling Green. I went to Bowling Green last year for my first time. I helped Miles with his road show.
Yep.
It wasn't the pulling; it was the fans.
Right.
I mean, there was beach balls.
Yep.
I mean, there's whistles, and I'm not just talking about girls showing their boobies, Dennis. I'm talking about because that's the north side and the south side. I mean, everybody has fun. You're going to see that at NASCAR.
Right.
You're going to see all that stuff. But I mean, the fans it's a fans experience. They take it to the next level of Bowling Green.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, that's the whole idea of it. And I just what are some ideas like if you could think to yourself, man, I really wish we could do one thing, or if I had the time, I would do this. I mean, what are some thoughts that run through your mind?
You mean as far as the event
Entertaining the
itself?
fans, yeah, at an event. What are some of the neat things you've seen
You
over
know,
the years?
I've always,
ideas you want to share?
We I get involved with that with our sock pole,
Yep,
or sock
very-
poles, I should say.
Yeah, that's
and
a
we've,
lot.
And we've often talked about maybe even having some side entertainment, things like that, or maybe even having a band.
Yep.
I feel that maybe someday to add just another element of entertainment that going on where maybe someone can split off for a while, things like that. That's one idea. Other than that, beer and food,
Yep.
which usually
Well,
that
and a
comes with
nice
the pole.
3-hour show. I mean, that's what people want. It's like going to a movie, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go get my entertainment and,
Yep.
and go home. I think sometimes
Exactly.
maybe we overthink it.
Yeah. Right, exactly, and you're right. You can't have a show that's going to last 3 hours is typically the limit.
Especially in SOC, there's a noise ordinance at midnight.
Right,
I learned that last year.
And you see people leaving after a while.
Yeah.
So and actually a lot of people want to do something later on during the evening. So
So this was on Monday.
Yeah.
Here's one of the elephants left by the.
the circus.
Yes, this was left by the circus, and Melissa said they were still, or Ryan Rusik said they were still there Sunday, so they were there all week.
So the elephant enjoyed the tractor pull. That's
But there
what-
was 2 other ones, so there was actually 3 total, I guess.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we had suggestions. They could have been the test for the sled. Test out the sled.
Yeah,
We had
there
that
we go.
suggestion.
Rich, get over here. Get over here. We're going to put you on. Step over the cord there. This is a fancy studio, so don't be ripping out. Sit right there next to your dad.
All right.
So, yeah, you want to give him the mic?
Yep.
So we got a 15-year-old Rich Frey here, right? So
bet.
what does tractor pulling mean to you?
Well, I don't know. I've grown up with it ever since I was born, and it's just been. I don't know. I think it's. I don't know. More people say that. I don't know. It's not cool and everything, but I think it's one of the greatest things ever. Tractor pulling for me is. I mean, I farm stock pull with Alice Chalmers 190, and it's not the big leagues, but I mean it just feels great. It's the best thing ever. So.
So, like, Dennis, when you were a kid, everybody went to the polls, right?
Oh,
I mean, in
absolutely.
school, right?
Oh, yeah.
And now we have it's a
Yep.
generation later now,
Right.
And you got Rich saying not
Yep.
everybody says it's cool. So, like, what do your friends say about polling? Because part of Let's Grow Polling is so there's promoters watching, there's
Yep.
pullers watching, fans watching. We're
Yep.
looking for ideas. You're a 15-year-old kid. You grew up. You're a pulling family. The heritage is there. You know what I mean? Your uncle has a sled, right?
Yep.
I mean, you guys got the whole thing
Yeah.
figured out. What's it like? I mean, what's it like?
I mean, it just feels cool. I mean, you're surrounded by pulling. I mean, your whole family, grown up with pulling. I mean, it's, just been from the farmer standpoint. I mean, yeah, you take your tractor off the farm
Yep.
and you go pulling, and it's really cool. I mean, and back to where people say it's not as cool, but I think, honestly, yeah, the truck classes are growing. With, like, in my school, like, people will say, like, oh, trucks, everyone wants to Duramax, everyone wants to tune up their Cummins and go pulling in who blows the most smoke and who can put the biggest turbo on and who can build most boost. I mean, the truck class is really growing, and I think it's really cool.
So, I mean, like a 2.5 work stock class like Southwest has, is that
Yep.
kind of where these guys are starting, or what do you think? I mean, because we run like an outlaw diesel class at our events in Richland Center, and then we do other things like that. What do you see, like your buddies wanting to do with different things like that?
I definitely think that, yeah, the 2.5, 2.6.
Yep, that 2.6
That-
smooth bore.
Yep, exactly. I mean, that's a lot of people are running that, and yeah, that's where people start, where they'll be calling on, all right, I want to build my truck up, not just like can have it as a daily driver,
Right.
but also just drive to the pole and hook up onto the sled at the same time. So that's where I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of a universal thing where you're pulling and you're also driving as a daily driver. So yeah.
What's your favorite tractor pulling memory or pulling related memory?
Well, my favorite pulling memory would have to be when I was the first time I ever pulled farm stock tractor, and I mean, when it get in that first hook, I mean that was honestly the greatest. I mean, it's not full blown tractor pulling, but I mean that's just the coolest thing. I mean,
No, but it is though, and that's
It
what I want
is.
people to understand. There's
Yeah.
way more farm stock pullers.
Oh, yeah.
2 out to farms and
Yeah.
3,000 RPM than there is a 4.1 limited
Yep.
pro.
Yeah.
Because without the state level
Oh, yeah.
or lower, that's the grassroots of pulling.
Yep, that's where everything evolves from. I mean,
Yep.
you go from farm pulling, and then it's the next level where, hey,
You want more.
you want more power. I mean, and you got a little money to spend.
Yep.
So I think that's
And
cool.
that's a good point. You know, it's fun to see these young guys have their first opportunity to pull. You know, just simply backing up and tightening the chain, and you know, they're like when Ridge pulled, I was over there and coaching him along. You know, it's kind of cool. You know, and now this year, Ridge has got a friend, a classmate,
Yep.
that's got a
806.
806 with a turbo.
Yep.
So we were over there one night, and so we were kind of giving them some static, like, "Hey, you got to get this thing out." You know, kind of a grudge match between the 806 and the 190. So they did. So
Yeah.
so them two got a little thing going on now. You know, when they go to local polls, which is pretty cool.
But
That's
how
fun.
polling started. I mean,
Right.
It's a man
Yeah.
thing, and men. We'd be without women, we would destroy ourselves. That's what keeps us in check. And we're constantly looking for more and looking for more. So.
You know, but as you guys know, I mean, one thing leads to the next. You know, even at that level, and that's probably what's going to happen with Ridge, possibly. You know, and I'll be there to support it as long as we can afford it. You know,
No, that's no joke.
taking
Yeah.
that next step. You know, and I think that's a big part of it. If you can do it and enjoy the sport together as a family, you know, Mama has to be happy.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, that's
All right,
true.
no
Dad's got to be
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
That's right. Everybody's got to be
Yeah.
happy and content, and if you can do that, I think that's a big part of it. You know, and obviously when your son is interested in it, it's easier for me to get away with it. So
A funny story from the Cornhusker Classic. I heard someone talking behind me. Their wives dropped the dad off, and the mom and the daughter went to the mall in Lincoln.
Yep. That all happens.
Yeah.
That all
And
happens.
she took the checkbook, I think, too. He said.
Rich, what do you do around the shop at Fair Dollar Performance?
Well, you know, I'm just kind of the sandblasting guy. I'm doing some tearing apart and everything, just trying to learn the ropes and working my way up on watching like Scout Luck tearing apart a pump, just trying to take notes, trying to look, and trying to evolve from there. So,
Cool.
yeah.
What is the one thing that you want people to know about Fair Dollar Performance that they may not have knew about before tonight?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, we can specialize in pretty much anything you want. I mean, it's pretty much where it's a lot of people will say like, oh, they got a lot of farm stuff and everything, but it's also tractor pulling is a huge thing, and I mean, it just brings where, you know, it's all, and we're not just based in like the Midwest region, we're based across the country. So it's not where just a small rinky dink, it's kind of the real deal.
Kind of
If you
the real
kind of the
life.
real deal.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Dennis, how would you answer that question? Why did you get on board with us? What do you want people to know more about of you and Fair Dollar Performance?
well, I think, you know, number one, I want people to know what we do, and we just talked about it. We've got different angles of the business. You know, we've got some different. We talked about the drive-in shop, where basically we concentrate on working on diesel vehicles. A lot of people don't know that, you know, and it's a whole different part of the business. You know, in the Poland world, it's different. You don't really have to advertise much necessarily all the time, because it's just a lot of word of mouth stuff. But when it comes to like a local business like the Diesel Drive-In, I found out, we need an ad in the paper, you know, things like that. It's all different, but. So between that and then the everyday stuff, I guess I think we're easy to work with. We're good people, you know, and if there's something we can do, we will, you know, and we're expanding, getting back to Ridge. You know, we just recently bought a Bridgeport mill, and we're looking at a lathe. We want one of our next ventures in the diesel component side of the business is to be able to do more of our specialty machine work in-house.
Okay.
Right now we've got 3 machine shops that we work with constantly. So that's going to be the element, and Ridge has expressed the interest, and possibly we're hoping that we've already visited a tech school. I've got a good friend that instructs like a machine shop, like being a machinist type thing. And so possibly that might be Ridge's venture in life, possibly. And with that being said, then he could maybe add another element to our business that would help out. So
another way to diversify, like you talked about
exactly.
earlier.
Yep.
Brian Deck commented again, said he had the best service.
Great.
So there.
All right.
So that's a good word of mouth.
I appreciate that, Brian. He's a good guy. I enjoy working with them guys. So.
Jack's an honest guy.
Yeah, no,
If he's mad, he'll let you know. If he's happy, he'll
They're challenging though. If something doesn't work, then I know about that too.
Oh yeah, I'm
But no,
sure.
that's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah,
So
no, yeah.
that's just the way that the sport is.
Well, let's
so.
have the guys sign
Sure.
the board up there.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go bowling. Rich,
Wherever you
guys
want.
sign too.
Wherever you
All
want.
right.
Yep. Go above there. Oh, go a little bigger. Can you reach that high, Dennis?
Jeez.
No short jokes, right?
Is this the Wall of Fame right
The
here?
Wall
We're
of
calling.
Fame?
Yeah.
I wish we could get everybody. The in studio is fun. I mean, it's hard for. We'll have to get Hawthorne up here, but we'll have to get Kyle Busch up here sometime too. So that'd be fun. But I really thanks for coming over, Dennis.
Hey, no problem.
This has been great. I can't believe we've done an hour already.
It goes by fast.
No, we appreciate it, and like I said, I love the sport, and what you guys are doing here is a great thing. You know, you're trying to keep this thing.
Well, there's a
keep
lot of
pumped
people
up.
doing it now, and that's where we just want to share. I mean, we can if we share somebody else's post to our page.
Right.
You know, we got lucky. The beer money pulling team thing before Facebook went public.
Right.
You know, it grew because of the beer money pulling team. And
Right.
You know, I don't even drink beer. You know what I mean? But I was
Yeah.
coming home and I
Yeah.
heard that song, that Kip Moore song, Beer
Yep.
Money.
Yep.
He talks about having a little change
Yeah.
in his pocket or
Yeah.
whatever. And
That's
I'm like,
great.
that's kind of what you do. You spend
Right.
hundreds of thousands of dollars on a
Right.
4-1 to go win a couple $100. You know what I mean? So as a business person, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, and it doesn't, but it's
that's where you just keep doing it.
it's all about having the fun. So,
It is.
but hey, thanks a lot for having me. That's
No,
great.
it's great.
So, you bet.
Ryan, do you want to tune out with some videos for Cornhusker?
Sure.
Does that
Yeah.
sound good? Or?
Yeah, I can kind of.
And the next week we got to figure out what we're gonna do next week.
Yeah, I know this guy likes going on vacations, so.
So Dennis was like, because I always call him up Monday after, hey, what are you doing tonight? Yeah, you give me a lot of notice. Oh shoot.
No, that's great. So, well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
always
always great
great
to-
up with some videos. And
Yeah.
we'll finish it off. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Not good seeing you again.
Yes,
so.
we'll see you down the road, a couple months away.
Looking
So
forward to the
Outdoor
to
pull-
the
yes.
spring thing.
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah,
there,
May
so
13th. I'm gonna give you some.
Yes,
posters
May
to take
13th.
home, so.
You
Can I take the camera down?
yeah, just 1 second here. We'll get transitioned. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we got green right now. Brett Falk. Louisville, Nebraska. Sorry, I'll get out of the way so you can record this. Not have to just look at me. I promised to duck whenever he comes by so you can swing, so we'll be good.